Hey, and welcome back to our show. This Sunday, I've got a guest on my radio show, the 14th. Willie Geist is the host, one of the hosts of Morning Joe, that's on each morning, Monday through Friday, in Central Time Zone, where I live. It comes on at 5 in the morning and goes till, comes on at 4:30. Actually, Geist comes on at 4:30 and goes till 8 Central Time, an hour later. Out west, you guys are a little bit behind. Geist hosts that show. Interesting fella, very funny, and I think will one day be a Jimmy Kimmel or someone on a late night talk show, but has a new book out called American Freak Show, making a lot of fun of the whole political spectrum in this country today after following the election. So if you get a chance, tune in on Sunday's show to hear Willie Geist. You can also view it on Justin TV. You'll find on my website. Elections are over, and thank goodness. I'm glad the elections are over. I've had my fill of all the TV spots we've seen day after day. And now the question is, what happens now? I have some concerns. I expressed it in the column that I wrote this week. You may want to look at that column on my website, JimBrownUSA.com. And I wrote about where we're going from here, if you will. And I talked about the right to be wrong in politics, where maybe we're being a little bullheaded and not much is happening. This week is the 150th anniversary of the election of Abraham Lincoln as president. Some lessons to be learned from Lincoln. I've written before that I'm not a big Lincoln fan in some respects. I have a hard time seeing why the great compromiser would allow 600,000 Americans, that's almost 3 million Americans today, now 6 million Americans today, if you had the same numbers of population, die in the Civil War. Some way, somehow, they should have resolved that conflict without killing all those people, brother against brother, family against family. I just have a hard time understanding that. The other thing, if you live down in Louisiana, where I live, in New Orleans, you had General Beauregard Butler, who controlled that city and put out an order that if any disrespect was shown in any way by any female in New Orleans or the state of Louisiana, that the woman should be treated like prostitutes. There'd be no prosecution for rape. Some very violent things happened, and many people appealed to Lincoln to rescind the order that Butler issued. He did not do so. So I've got some personal problems with Lincoln that have been festering for some time. I've written about before, but Lincoln did have a big view of history. He talked about history with a capital H, where he said there is destiny. There is. He doesn't talk about so much free will as predestination. Some societies are predestined to do so much better, and he said America is one of those societies. And I made the analogy today from Lincoln's words of predestining America to be this special place to where we find ourselves today, the bitterness in politics, the do-nothing Republicans who have no solutions for the future. Obama, who's lost his mojo. You know, when he ran in the campaign, he had a vision, he had a purpose. He talked about American dreams. Once he got elected, he got bogged down in the minutia of governing, which I guess is pretty easy to do. But the fact remains that nothing has gotten done, and it seems like that he's being frustrated by the process and maybe can't handle the process. I'm not very optimistic about either party. I see some recent polls show there's a great deal of interest in a third party, where maybe 40% of Americans are ready for a third party. And I talked about this, and I talked about that shouldn't both parties define what is special about being an American? What are the things that make us different from other countries? Obama said a few months ago that America is special to Americans, just like Greece is special to Greeks and Germany is special to Germans. Well, I don't buy off on that. If that's the case, then we're all the same. We are not the great moral leader in the world. We don't take on this special cause we have to do so many things throughout this country. And I talked about what makes us special. I said, take a coin out of your pocket, take a nickel, a quarter, take a dime, and you'll see the three special things written on that coin that make us special. The fact that we're the country that says, in God we trust, and that we have inalienable rights, not rights given it to us by the government, but rights given to us from the higher being, rights that can't be taken away from you, that's very unique and special. E pluribus unum, from the many one. We are a country that says you can come from wherever you want, whatever your race, creed, color, as long as you work with us to improve our quality of life here, then from the many you are one. That's what makes us special. I talked about liberty, and our liberty definition is different from the French. The French talk about liberté, fraternité, and their motto after the French Revolution, but their definition of liberty goes with equality, where we're all equal when we're born as we are. But then the government kind of wants to keep you equal through the whole socialist system you find in France right till the day you die. We say, look, you're born equal. What you make of yourself is up to you. That makes us special. Just what you find on a coin, any coin. And I made the point in my column that we're not hearing those enunciations from Democrats, from Republicans, from Tea Partiers. Our leadership has let us down. And if they don't step up to the plate and define what's special about being an American and deal with legislation to further that cause, then we don't have a very bright future, and that deeply concerns me. So I hope you'll read the column over, and I'd like to hear your thoughts. You can email me, jb@jimbrownla.com. I'll read a lot of those emails on the air in our next segment that I get in. I've got some coming in. I'm looking at the computer here already. So just some thoughts for you as we move forward. Don't forget Willie Geist this weekend. Hey, I got some more to talk to you about. We'll come back right after this message.